I hope you guys enjoy. Something small I did. There was something small from my side for all of you.
Excellent.
I hope you had fun.
Excellent.
Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Hope you all, and I can see all the claps coming in. So I know that you guys have really enjoyed this. Sia is a born dancer. She's a director, founder of 1-2 Dance Academy in Philippines. She studied fashion design, marketing, merchandising, and styling. While she found each course interesting and enjoyable, she felt that the piece of a puzzle which was still missing can only be completed by her dance. Her drive to learn, explore, and push her own boundaries has led her to create the Performing Art Company. Wow, Sia, that is very well done. Thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you really for having me. I'm very grateful for this opportunity. It's really fun talking to all of you here.
Thank you so much, Sia. Our second guest for the evening is Umesh Firwani. Umesh Firwani is an actor, model, stand-up comedian, author, and a life coach. He has shot as a main lead in the forthcoming Bollywood project, Roll, Sound, Camera, Action, directed by Jayesh Seth. He has recently shot a web series with Zinat Aman, Love Life Screw Ups. Wow, Umesh, very good title, I must say. He has he has trained over 50,000 people from all walks of life in 5 countries in the neuro-linguistic programming and mind power. He has authored 2 books, Are You Out of Your Mind? And The Mind Switch. He has been featured in the popular talk shows on TV, including Movers and Shakers and Life and Soul on Star TV. He is a celebrity columnist with Afternoon Voice newspaper. Welcome, Umesh, to Society Behind Wow.
Thank you so much.
I must say that your titles, right from your web series to your books, are absolutely mind-blowing.
Mind-blowing, yeah. The keyword is mind over there.
Exactly. And when it comes to love life screw-ups, let me tell you, Umesh, we have started a new segment on Society Behind Wow, which is called Hangama Shadi Se Pehle or Hangama Shadi Ke Baad, which is also the other word for love life screw-ups. So
absolutely.
Welcome to the show.
And I would like to add over there, actually, it's both are the same words. Hangama and marriage mean the same.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here, and over to Anu.
Thank you, Umesh, and thank you, Sia. And let's introduce to you the third guest. And she is Bhavna R. Kapoor. She's right now in Singapore. She's an architect and an interior designer by profession and a very passionate artist.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, welcome, Bhavna, to the show. Society Behind Wow. Thank you. Pleasure to have you all with us. So we have Umesh, who is the center of attraction today, among 2 beautiful guests along with him. So let's take the opportunity to start the show with Umesh. Umesh, you're an NLP practitioner. Please explain to our viewers, what is NLP in a very layman language, and how do you use or practice NLP with your friends and family?
Awesome. Thank you so much. First of all, I would say I'm really privileged and honored to be amongst all you beautiful women and all you talented women. So Sia, that was an amazing performance. And Bhavna, great. Nice to see you.
Thank you so
Anu,
much.
you're
Nice
doing
to
a
see
great
you
job
too.
hosting. Thank you. And
You too, mate.
thank you. So NLP, I mean, I know a lot of people get very confused with that it's a very complex word, neuro-linguistic programming. It just sounds something too scientific. So to make it very, very easy to understand, NLP is nothing but just imagine your mind as an instrument, a musical instrument. So if you, let's say, had a piano or if you had a guitar, you would need some training to play it, right? If you're just going to strum any note, it will just sound, out of rhythm or out of tune, and it might not make sense. That's what most people are doing. We are not using the most important instrument that we have, and hence they're falling prey to anxiety, depression, and all these different mind diseases that are plaguing our society. So NLP helps you to just create the right programming in your mind. Again, programming might sound a little complex. To make it much more easier, we are running programs in our mind. As a son, I have a different programming. As a husband, I have a different programming. As a brother, I have a different programming. So similarly, where it comes to success, we have certain programmings that need to be run in order to gain a successful life.
Great.
So in a nutshell, that would be easier to understand.
Right. Brilliant, Umesh. So I think in just a jiffy and a very simple language, you have explained to our viewers what is NLP. So thank you so much, and over to Anu.
So Sia, this is for you. You've heard this beautiful quote that dance as if no one is watching. And how do you relate to this quote?
So even before I started dancing, I'm a stylist and designer by profession. And we were very trained in our head with like what you study is what you're supposed to do and this and that. So I followed a path of healing and I have been on it on a very long time. And one day I jumped on this opportunity of starting something that I love. And the more I learned about spirituality, I just realized that dance is a form of meditation. And that's why Shiva was somebody who would dance to express his anger, his love, his. A lot of gods and goddesses have always used dance in different forms of arts to express themselves. So when you talk about that, it is the same thing. When you, especially, you dance, you express certain things. Your movements will change because if you're angry, if you're anxious, you can see if people are nervous. You can see. So that's exactly what it means that, when you say dance like no one's watching, you feel every movement. The moment the music goes on, if it's a love song, you feel that passion and you can see the expressions of people, how they change. So at that point, in the trance state that you go, it's a way of meditating in an awake state. So
Wow.
you're in a trance. So it's like after a point, it doesn't matter if anybody is watching. So when you're dancing, just feel those emotions and just let it flow. That's exactly what dance like no one watching mean, because just feel those emotions and let your movements follow, and you
So,
will feel it through the screen.
so Sia, you're saying that it's a form of expression, which
Yeah,
is actually delivered in the form of meditation. Wow, that's like
you
amazing.
get into a meditative state. Yes, it
And
is a form of meditation.
if I go back in time and I know something that I heard from my mom, you're not supposed to dance. अच्छे घर की लड़कियां dance नहीं करती. And to be really honest, dance, when I see you dancing, or even in that small little clipping, it felt that I touched a place where God sits.
Yes.
And and this is a big tribute to all the dancers across the world, that if they can get into that meditative state, all they have to do is express themselves properly to be in a state of wellness.
Yes.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anu, and thank you, Sia. Coming to Bhavna, Bhavna, you have a rich portfolio of being an architect and an interior designer by profession. So, what is it that inspired you to take these paintings lately as a part of your passion? And as a part of our architecture, I'm sure you have been doing a lot of designing by itself, right? So was it the
First,
pandemic because of which you got into this painting mode, or what inspired you exactly?
first of all, I would like to thank you for this opportunity. Really grateful. Um, I did my architecture and interior designing. In fact, I cleared in 1997, and I practiced in India for more than a decade. I used to work somewhere, and I used to have my own company too. And then I moved to UK because my husband got transferred there.
Mhm.
And I just a new mother, I said, let me enjoy this and, take a break from work. And
Congratulations for the new mother.
yes, thank you. But this was like 13 years ago.
Okay, okay.
And then as she got a little older, I've
Mhm.
always been fond of art in some form. So I started going to these small schools, where not as a complete course, but I just said, okay, I just need to get out of the house and, find myself, because I used to be such a workaholic before and so involved in my work. So I said, let me go to these places and, learn a few things about painting. It was just started out as a hobby, to be honest. And then I moved to Singapore, and I said, I'm ready to work, get back into the industry of being an architect and an interior designer. So I started applying for jobs. Firstly, I realized as an Indian, I cannot practice in Singapore. My degree is not really valid. I need to
Okay.
re-give an exam in this country.
Okay.
And okay, so I said, let me try as an interior designer. So I started applying to companies to start working, and somehow didn't get an opportunity to move into that industry. I still love my work, really enjoy every minute of it. And I said, okay, that's not happening. Let me just, do painting side by side. And so I just got into painting. And for me, the canvas is like a blank house or a blank office, a space which I need to design. And when I walk into it, it's like how you connect with it. So you know how Sia mentioned that it's like meditation? It's
Mhm.
exactly like meditation. You need to connect with that canvas, with that piece that you want to create. And if you connect, you just get lost, actually. And it's just a beautiful experience of of just painting and being there. And slowly people appreciated my work, they started buying my work, and that is how really the journey started. Nothing planned, uh, just hopped into it, literally.
That
But
is a
yeah.
Mhm. That is a great journey, Bhavna. But when you start painting, first, how long do you take to finish one piece of painting? And do you have a particular theme or before you start brushing on the canvas, or it just whatever your mind says and you go with the flow?
Okay, first of all, any painting takes you a long time. Some of them could take you right up to 4 months, 6 months to complete, depending on what the subject is, how big the size of the canvas is, what is the medium that you're working with. So some things could be completed much faster, but some things need that kind of time. For me personally, I need to connect with the subject. So I need to feel it. And so it could be, in the say somebody is coming in for a commission piece and asking me to paint for them. I may not pick up every commission piece. I'm a little choosy there because I need to feel the subject. I need to feel that I want to do it. And that connection is first what I need to create with my subject. And then it goes onto the canvas. So it's about just feeling it in and being there with the subject. So that's what I connect. That is a connection that I need when I.
Great, great. Over to Anu, and thank you so much, Bhavna. It was a
Thank you.
beautiful journey you've had. Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm just amazed. See people here who are our guests, and they all seem to be talking the talk of a soul that they need to connect. I'm sure Umesh connects with that part and acts. Bhavna connects with her paints, and that is meditation for her. For Sia, it's the dance that's a meditation. I'm very curious to know, Bhavna, let's take further on this journey. What in your childhood made you become aware of? Was it like you had this talent and then you put it on, on the walls, on the house, and like carried your? What was your childhood like, and who kind of inspired you to get into this kind of field, like designing and architecture, and then paints and paintings and drawings? What was it? What was the inspiration behind you? Yeah.
I think the first inspiring person was my mother, who used to paint but doesn't do it anymore. And it's very strange how you do things but don't do it. And I remember going to my grandma's house and going to, all we cousins used to get together and go to this person's house who used to be Mr. Dhanda, if I remember. And he used to have this huge house, and all he used to do was sit down and paint. It used to be fascinating to watch. And of course, I used to be very little there. So the kind of subjects that he gave me to the kind of subjects that he gave my sister were completely, completely different. But it is getting into the designing field. I think there's a design around you constantly. There are colors, there are things, there are patterns. Even when you're walking on the road, you're noticing patterns. You're just surrounded by this all the time. And this is what is fascinating. So I have been actually painting or since a child. I mean, but not in a professional manner, something which was a hobby, and you just grab the paints and you paint with, but not at a professional level at all. And to be honest, never in my life did I ever think that I would walk into this field professionally. So I'm very glad and happy I've got this opportunity. It's just the first step that I have taken, I honestly believe. And there's lots to do and lots to learn and paint. But it's around all the people that you meet along in your life which inspire you. So even when I'm in Singapore and I go to this place where everybody sits down and paints, it's amazing to see how if there are like 10 people in that room painting, it's amazing how each person's thought process is completely different, and how their painting is saying a completely different story from yours. And it's amazing to see that how much you can learn from each other. And it's not just about yourself, but what you're able to take from your surroundings, your environment, the nature, everything put together.
Absolutely, absolutely. So Bhavna, do you use color therapy or something called psychotherapy in your painting?
No, I don't.
Okay, it just comes
I literally
naturally.
go by intuition, what I feel. So it's I do not I do not use this part at all.
Okay, thank you so much, Bhavna.
Thank you.
Over to Sia. Sia, please let our viewers know a little about One Two Dance Academy and what inspired you to start this dance as a profession. Let's start from your childhood. So, as a child, what was it that you were doing, and how, like, बच्चों को खेलते खेलते dance सीखने का मन करता है as a hobby and stuff like that. So let's hear your childhood a little and what inspired you to get into forming an academy that you formed.
Thank you so much, Obaji. So, like when I was
Okay.
little, every time, the music used to play and whatever, like there were little weddings in the house. So, I was the performer, go dance and all that. And people were clapping and always felt good. But I wanted to learn Bharatnatyam. We had Malika Sarabai's Institute right across my house. But how Anu said, if you remember, अच्छे घर की लड़कियां नाचती नहीं हैं. And my grandma used to say, नाचोगे ना तो hips बड़े हो जाएंगे, फिर लड़का नहीं मिलेगा.
अच्छा.
उसी शादी नहीं होगी तुम्हारी. So she never allowed me to learn dance. And back in the day, you couldn't say anything. And I come from a small town. I'm from Ahmedabad. Back in the day, it was very, big to do all of that. Any which ways, I used to play music and just dance around. Then when I became a teenager and my mom was a little more, she always let me do what I like. So I went around in dance academies and learned different type of dances until I got into Shamak Tower and I got into their special potential batch. And that's where I really started learning a little more formal form of dancing and all of that. Cut to, I studied fashion because going back to dance couldn't be a profession, right? I learned dance with Sandeep Soparkar back then also. So
Okay.
dance, it couldn't be a profession back then, right? And I got married 10 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
I did fashion, I did styling. Styling is something that I still do, but fashion is something I studied. Went abroad, went to the Philippines, and then did clothes, did everything. But like I always felt that there was something missing. Like, that punch in the end wasn't there. So after, and every time I thought, and when I was a child, Shobhaji, I would always just put it out in the universe. One day I'll have a dance school. One day I'll have a dance school. And this was not because of X, Y, and Z. Not that I was any trained person or something. It was just something that I would put it out in the universe. After doing healing for 4 or 5 years, one day I just woke up and I was like, you know what? I want people in the Philippines to experience Bollywood because for them, belly dancing was Bollywood.
Hmm.
And I just wanted that little girl's dream come true. I wanted my manifestation to come in my hand. And I realized that, yes, we manifest stuff, but the two things is detachment, having the trust that it is going to come true for you without being attached to the idea. The third thing is action. You need to do something for it, right? So I was just sitting and thinking, but you have to take a step forward, like how Bhavna started.
Physical action, physical action.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then so you have to do that. So I just picked up the phone and I called up Binaisha, who was the first instructor I brought in, because I wasn't formally trained yet, right? So I called her in and I was like, let's do a workshop. We did a hip hop Bollywood workshop. We did it for 3 weeks. And after that, I put up a show in 10 days. Like I put up a show in an auditorium and everything. And everyone was like, wow, that's amazing. And they understood. They're like, oh, this is Bollywood, because they would think belly dancing was Bollywood since forever. So it was nice. That's how I started my journey. Then I did direction courses. So now I direct shows mostly, and we work as a team with different choreographers. And that's how my journey started. And I remember when my first show of 1-2 Step was there, on the stage, when Binaisha handed me the mic in the end, and I had 400 people in the audience. And I swear I only booked half of the hall, which was 200 seats, because I didn't know if people would come up for this. But Shobhaji, 400 people showed up, and I had to book the whole thing. Like they had to open the whole thing up for me. And I was so shocked to see that personally as well. I never cry in public. Even my mother-in-law was shocked because she knows that I don't tear up. But when I had that, I broke down first time because I was like, this is a little girl's dream come true. That was my manifestation in front of me in full form. And to see it come to life has driven me to work on myself, has made me realize the power we hold within us, the trust that the universe has your back. And just with that love and trust is what I do, is what I do. And I move forward with that every day. But yes, you have to put in the work for yourself. So that's a little story that I have for you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And it is really awesome to see how you have come up and, progressed with manifesting your dream to what you have formed as 1-2 Dance Academy. Why did you name it as 1-2 Dance Academy? What was the reason behind that?
It's actually 1-2 Step.
1-2 Dance, 1-2 Step.
Yes. So as I heal, I have become very fascinated with crystals, their healing properties, and I do use a lot of crystals for myself. And I also did a small workshop of numerology. Okay.
Oh, okay. So you combined it all.
So I did combine it all. Yeah. So I wanted the number 8 for because number 8 stands for success. Correct. And it has a lot of other meanings as well. And I really resonated with what number 8 stood for. So I had so many names, but I was stuck to, I want to use something that ends up to number 8. So we came up with 1-2 step, because you counts, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. And there's a song that Kiara sung. It's 1-2 step also.
1-2
And I
step
really,
also.
yes. So I really loved that whole idea, and it rounded up to number 8. So I did use a bit of numerology for myself and my company. It's worked
Wow.
so far. Yes.
You're a multi-talented personality, Sia.
Thank you.
Thank you
So
so
that's the
much.
secret.
And yeah, thank you. And over to Anu.
So Sia, I'm really fascinated by what you've just spoken. You know, that moment where you kind of cried, you teared up. I want you to freeze that moment for a minute. If you can kindly just go back there, stand in that spotlight. And I want you to tell us, what did you feel really at that point? What in that moment made you feel and tear up? What really was that all about? Thank you.
It was very simply, when your father hugs you with that full love, you
Yes.
know, I a lot of times felt that I didn't know if things were possible. Like I'm a very skeptical person like that, and I doubt myself a lot at times. And I used to rather, and I used to doubt myself a lot. But this was something which for the first time I did from my gut instinct, and I went at it. So,
Wow.
to see that felt like, when your dad gives you a gift and then, he gives you that hug, it made me feel that I deserve it. And my work paid off. I felt loved. I felt that anchor of support from the creator that, come what may, you ask it and it's done. Just trust me. Give me your hand. And that love is what I felt. I was so overwhelmed to know that dreams can come true. We always say there's dreams come true, dreams come true. It's easy to read it everywhere. But Anu, to see it in front of you like that, it just, it was a big hug from the creator for me. And the feeling was, I got you. That's what it felt like. And that's why I just broke down. I couldn't say. And the second thing was, every big show that I've done, my husband hasn't been able to see it for some reason or the other.
I'm sure there's a
He just hasn't been able to, and it's not his fault. He either gets stuck or something. And he's been one of my biggest anchors, be it my crazy ideas of like, I want to fly here to do this course, I want to fly there. I have come to India so many times. I'm learning salsa, cha-cha, like Latin American from Sandeep Soparkar himself. I fly down. And to have his support, because he takes care of the kids when I'm not around. So I was really like, it was my first show and he wasn't there. He was in Hong Kong at that time. So it was a very mixed emotion at that point because he couldn't be there in the audience to see that.
okay.
So yeah.
Thanks for that. You know, I kept thinking, so असलियत ये है सिया कि आप इसलिए रो रही थी कि आपके हस्बैंड वहां नहीं थे.
Mixed.
Over to Shobha.
Thank you. Thank you, Sia. It was very nice listening to you. Over to Bhavna.
Thank you.
Bhavna, let's hear a little about your daily routine from morning to night, right from the time you have your bed tea till you retire to bed. How do you spend your day?
Okay. So it's not just for a woman. It's not just about being professionally there. There are a lot of roles that a woman plays. It's about being the wife, being the mother, being the homemaker, and then in spite of doing all this, also removing a good chunk of time for yourself, which is your own time. So for me, typically my day would begin with my tea, coffee. The cup 1 or 2 days I go for yoga. Thanks to COVID, everything has stopped right now, and everybody is on the precautionary zone. But typically, I would try and work with different kind of materials. So I would try and put my hand in watercolors. I would try and put my hand in acrylics. I would try and put my hand in gold leafing, in oil painting. So it's about exploring different materials and trying to see again with what do you connect. Because it's not that one person can, you may be able to work with different mediums, but you will have one medium which is yours. So it's about finding that medium and that material, and it's all about experimenting. So it's about how much of time in a day you're able to give yourself, give your paints and your creativity that time. So it's typically in a day, I would try and remove at least about, it's not the days I would paint for 8 hours in a day. And there are times when I just paint for about 2 hours, 3 hours. And there are days when I don't paint at all. So it's just about thinking about a subject and then, thinking what more you can do and then what more you can do. It's like mentally painting it in your brain. And then, it's about just conceptualizing and, getting, sometimes it's just about walking on the street and looking at colors and seeing, wow, how this color goes so beautifully with the other color. So it's all about creating in your brain a picture. So most of my time goes about in experimenting with my paints and my materials, actually.
But besides that, what else? How do you spend your whole day? Like you said, you get up in the morning, have your bed tea, then you sit over thinking about your paintings and what is the theme for the day and so on and so forth. And how does the day proceed ahead?
Okay, it's about my daughter coming back at 3:30. So I have to make sure that she really has the rest of all is around the house. So making sure that, she has her things ready, making sure that the house is kept in a certain way. So the rest of the day literally goes in planning and making sure that everybody at home is comfortable. So it's one part of the day, as I said, that you give yourself, which you call your own. And there's one part of the day which you devote to other people in the house, making sure that there's a perfect balance and harmony between the two.
Absolutely. The reason why we always ask our viewers or our guests, how do you spend your day? There is a reason behind why we ask that, just to know how people actually spend their daily life, whether they give that quality time for themselves, the me time to themselves. And if they do, what do they do in that me time? So that helps us understand where we are lacking or where they can improve. It's both ways. Yeah. So that is the reason for our asking, how do you spend your daily day, right from morning to night? Is it only thinking about others, doing for others, doing for your home, for your husband, for your kids? Or is it at least 10 minutes to half an hour of a day that you spend for yourself, for your own soul, for your own inner healing? So that's very important for us to ask that. And thank you so much for sharing. And over to Anu.
So I'm going to show you guys a few paintings that Bhavna has created. And I would request Bhavna to just give us like a roll on and say, okay, I created this, da 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 da, this is the da da da, because I wouldn't be able to represent your paintings as well as you do. Thank you so much. Let's all wish that everything is going off okay. Just give me a minute so that we put on a slideshow. Yes, that's the first one.
Yes. So for me, this is Blue Monk. This is about a prayer, a journey that you create with the higher self. It's just about you, your prayer, and the higher self. It's a meditative state. And for me, this was really important. This also came at a time, to be honest, when my dad was really unwell. I felt as though I was praying to God so that he could be at peace with his health. So it's a prayer, it's a journey that you have with the higher self.
Wow. Taking you guys to the next one.
This is a scene in Montreal. This has actually been clicked by my nephew, and I was actually very fascinated by this picture. It's about sitting in a coffee shop and just seeing how, you know, a city is, you know, lit up. It's bright and colorful with just the mannequins. And then you have this wedding car driving by. It's so inanimate, actually, but it still has so much about a city. If it had to be Bombay, you would see like crowds of people here, but how it differs from city to city, and how there is a peace in just sitting down in your coffee shop with you, your coffee, and maybe someone else, and just looking out.
Wow. That's very...
This is a black magic woman. And for me, she's black magic woman because, well, it's all about skin color, isn't it? We talk about skin color all the time. And it's amazing when you look at, you know, the black skin, and you look at the kind of colors that they have in it. They have like blues, they have purples, they have reds, they have the most brilliant colors that shine on their skin. So for me, it was about this woman, and, you know, for me, she was literally black magic woman who created magic with just herself. This is Ploughing Ahead. This I actually completed last year. This is one of my recent paintings. For me, this meant, you know, we have this COVID going around. So for me, it was about being on a journey where we are leaving all these dusty, hazy bits behind, hoping and looking at a bright future. So we are sowing in, plowing the seeds for good health, for prosperity, and moving ahead and charging ahead. So for me, this was literally plowing ahead and moving ahead in life, leaving behind all the mess that has happened. This is Thinking Big. This is one of my old paintings, which I actually created in my early days, where this girl is just sitting down and just thinking big. I mean, you know, we all have our dreams, we all have our plans. And why not a little girl who's got her own dream? It's like, today I just saw a video, you know, where this little girl who's like about 5 or 6 is talking to this woman who's sitting down in, you know, an old age home. And she says, you know, I get $560 as my, you know, pension. And the lady asked the little girl, what are you going to do with this money if you have? She said, I would buy a dog, and I would do this, and I would go to the pool. It's all about what you create. And, you know, even that little bit, which is so little to the other woman, this girl is already thinking so big. She's made her whole big plans out of that little thing that she has in her hand. It's about what you think for yourself. This is about a girl who's fearlessly walking on a rainy day. It shows that it's about all the fears that we fill into children. Children do not have these fears. It's about retelling the children, don't dance. If you dance, this will happen. If you go out on a rainy day, this will happen. If you do this, this will happen. In their brain, reality is very different. For me, this is music has no boundaries. He's probably 60, 65 years old. He's holding a double bass in his hand, a cigar. He's still enjoying life. And I think it's so important to connect with your life, to be able to enjoy every moment. And music has no boundaries. I mean, absolutely, you could be playing any instrument. I could be humming a Tamil song. I could be humming a Hindi song. It's all about the beats, about the music. Again, what about what you feel? This is again a flower girl, where I feel that she's telling a whole story in her eyes. She's surrounded by, she's got this, I call her the flower girl because I'm assuming that she's the one who's selling the flowers in a meadow, and she's walking past a meadow. So that's what it means to me. Pots of fortune. So for me, this is what you want to create for yourself. So each pot is open. For me, it was putting a wish into each pot for yourself and let the wish just flow out. So I call them pots of fortune. This is girl power, where you have a woman who says, don't mess with me. At the same time, you've got the flowers, which says that she's compassionate, she's loving, and at the same time, she knows how to create her boundaries. These are PHYSALIS flowers, actually. Sometimes they even, if you've seen mulberries, you also have these gooseberries, sorry, you have them inside. So for me, these were like Chinese lanterns. This is, I took an inspiration from Taj Mahal, India, where I've created an entire series. This is about how I could interpret it on a canvas, trying to make it look like marble with the stone inlay and the gold inlay work. So this is completely different. This has been done with acrylics. The rest of the works that you saw was with oil paints. This is again heliconia flowers, and I've tried using embroidery. It is a piece of art which has been made with, inspired from nature, including acrylics, oil paintings, and kind of thread work, which gives it a little bit of a fulkari effect. So there are lots more actually paintings. This is, I've just put down a few. There are many more which you can hop in and have a look.
Thank you so much for that, Bhavna. I am so amazed with how each drawing spoke to us. I'm really, really in gratitude.
They were really beautiful, Bhavna. They were stunning, really stunning.
Thank you.
Yes, really awesome.
And every painting made so much sense. I mean, so much of effort, of colors and thoughts that have been put into each and every painting. So do you sell them out there, or do you exhibit it somewhere, or how do you manage that?
I sell them. So if anybody does want it, I get it shipped anywhere in the world if anybody wants to buy it. Mm-hmm. And sometimes people do commission too. So they tell me that they're looking at a particular subject, and then I would, go ahead and paint that for them. Okay. So yes, I do sell all pieces of art.
Thank you so much. It was wonderful hearing you. And one last, before we switch over to Umesh, one last tip that I would like to ask you, Bhavna. What is that one tip that you would like to share with our viewers that they should incorporate in their daily routine, and why?
I think there's one thing that people should do. Do what you love. I think that is really, really important. Do what you feel the passion for. Do what you really, really want to do. And it doesn't matter what anybody thinks about it. It's just you and your passion. And I think that's really, really important.
Great. Thank you so much. And
thank you.
Over to Anu.
Umesh, you've been quite long. And I really, really appreciate your patience that you've been having.
I'm loving this. I'm among such talented people.
You yourself wear so many different hats and you're so talented. How do you maintain a balance and manage everything in your life?
Wow. Balance, I think it's never been an issue. The issue has been always what else to do, So maybe it was a kind of a rebellious attitude as a youngster, because I always wanted attention but never got it. I wasn't a good looking child. I wasn't in the so literally I've manifested the look that I desired. I was loving when Sia spoke about manifestation, and that's what my entire life has been about. So I used to be a very obese kid, and the last thing I got was attention in school or college. So then, going on to, believing in myself and, studying further, making it fall in place.
So, through this journey, I mean, I'm sure the viewers are sitting and saying, really?
Yes.
बताएं कि आप जब इतने मोटे थे, what really caught you and what all did you do? What are the thoughts that you had that made you be the person that you are today? It's so important.
Yeah, so I mean, this is one story even I share in all my seminars. So as a school student, I was only a roll number. So the only time they would know that I'm not there is when nobody would answer my roll call, and I never really gave it much thought. But when I came into college, I came across a very beautiful concept, called girls, which meant that life is beautiful. So when I got into college, and then I wanted that attention. I wanted to have a girlfriend, and forget a girlfriend. I wouldn't have a friend. I didn't have a friend also. So then I said, something is, missing, which I need to, it doesn't reflect on who I am. It just reflects on something that I need to understand, to work on. Yes. So then from there on, I just, and then I had a crush on this girl. Let's call her Monica now. I won't give her real name. And I had a huge, huge crush on her. For me, it was like my reason for going to college. Yes, Anu.
I feel like saying this, Monica.
Oh, my darling. So this is an interesting story, actually. So with all that weight that I was carrying with me, I decided to participate for a fashion show, which was happening in college, because that was my only chance at getting Monica's attention. Wow. And I remember walking into that room. I was in MMK college in Bandra, and I walked into that room where the auditions were happening. And as I entered that room, there were around 200 students, and it was pin drop silence because they had already begun. As I walked into the room, there was a loud comment. Somebody said, "Hey, this fatso wants to be a model." And everybody burst out laughing. And I had like tears in my eyes. I'm looking around, who said that? And then my eyes fell on this girl who was hiding her face with a book. And then I realized it was none other than, guess who? Monica. Monica. So I was like, gosh, yeah, this को पता नहीं है ये मेरी बीवी बनने वाली है, ऐसे बातें कर रही है. मेरे mind में तो she was like somebody I had already married and had 5 children with.
Oh my God.
So then, that was the point. I can clearly, remember that, brought about that drastic change. So in the same college, then I went on to win the best male model for 3 consecutive years. So it was a journey of, losing like a ton of weight, getting into the best shape possible. From there on, God's been very kind. So I became Mr. India, Mr. Popular in 2003. I've been on covers of some really well-known magazines, been interviewed for some wonderful shows, traveled abroad. Then it was all about the mind. I realized, again, I connect with what Sia said, that, it's when you get into that state, there's this very beautiful book by Michael Csikszentmihalyi. It's called Flow. So even what Bhavna spoke about, when you get into that, when she's painting or when Sia is dancing, you're in that state. That state is called flow, where time actually dilates itself. That 1 minute expands to eternity. So each and everything that I do, whether it's writing my books or my comedy, or when I'm acting in front of the camera, or walking, doing the ramp walk, or hosting my shows. I'm also an MC. So I've hosted over 1,300 shows in 37 countries. So when it comes to that, so I just give it my everything. It's like, for me, it becomes like do or die. Same thing with how, it was getting into fitness. So I'm an extremist. I went all the way, so when it came to understanding the human mind, I traveled to the US. I enrolled myself in the best university, got to know whatever there was to be known. When it came to losing weight, again, I went and got myself a diploma in nutrition and dietetics to understand, what can make me look the best version of myself, what is possible. Wow. So it's just been about, finding what else to do.
Amazing story of yours. And what's amazing here is that you didn't take no for an answer, and definitely Monica.
Oh, my darling. I have to share this. I have to give you the punchline of that story, because a few years later, I was doing a television show which was very, very popular. It was on Sony Television, Family Number One. If you Google it, you'll see. I mean, it was we even won the, best sitcom award at Asian TV Awards. So I had gone to one of these weddings where Monica was there. She had come for that wedding. And she came running up to me and she's like, "Hi, Umesh, how are you doing? I've been watching your shows." And I always tell my husband that,
my children.
And my children. This guy was in my college. I'm like, gosh, only if she knew. She doesn't know that I had a crush on her. Never had the guts to go up to her.
But Umesh, after you lost weight and all, and you participated in the college fest and won the best titles, didn't you dare to approach her and propose to her?
By that time, it was a little late because she had already got a boyfriend. So, and she married her boyfriend. She married her boyfriend. So she was a sweetheart. She was an absolute sweetheart.
So you
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sure.
Umesh, she might figure out today who she was, by the
Yeah,
way.
she might, yes.
You gave the story out today. If she's watching it, she'll know now.
I think she's on my friend list on Facebook, but of course I haven't revealed her real name. So, if she's she's watching this, then definitely she knows who she is.
Exactly.
But I hope,
Umesh, if
she's not watching.
Hope, yes.
Umesh, if she's not watching also, you can share the video, especially on her WhatsApp, and send her this video.
No, but let me add over here again, I mean, I'm so happily married as of now. Again, when Sia mentioned about that manifestation, of her show where she, saw this 400 people that turned up, and it was like, actually a baby girl's dream come true. Same thing with me, when I was the last person on this planet who ever wanted to get married. I never was, I used to get nightmares that I'm getting married, as a child. So for me, I've been very scared of marriage. So when it actually came down to do or die, when my mom put a deadline ki karna hi padega shadi, so I sat down and I did this manifestation. Actually, whoever meets my wife, I tell them, I said this on in a stage, in an auditorium with 1,200 people. I said, she's manifested by me. I've manifested the way she looks, the way her behavior is, her nature is. So she's my doll, so I have no room for any other woman in my life. I'm so much in love.
Anu, just to inform you, कि शादी से पहले और शादी के बाद में हम कहानी सुनने वाले हैं ये हफ्ते में उमेश और उसकी वाइफ श्वेता फिरवानी की। तो ये थोड़ा सा सस्पेंस आप हंगामा के लिए रख दीजिए।
Absolutely.
उमेश, एक और सवाल आपके लिए, and that is that as an NLP practitioner, what would you guide our viewers to do on daily basis, and what change can it bring to them? I mean, क्या करते हैं आप? And that mind power, talk about that mind. मतलब सबके पास है यार mind. But what do you do with the mind? That's
awesome. I was actually waiting for that question because I would want, viewers who are investing their time in this, talk to take away something. Kind of.
नहीं कहा पास तो mind ही नहीं है.
तभी मैंने वो किताब लिखी थी, Are You Out of Your Mind? So, on a daily basis, I mean, like Shobha very rightly said, we need to have that me time. And especially this pandemic, I think, has come as a blessing. I mean, with due respect to, the gravity of the entire thing, but looking at it from every coin has a second side. And I feel that this pandemic has really helped us, it's jolted us back into reality. We have been taking too many things for granted. So it's been a reality check for most of us to, understand. And for me, if I were to, I'm in no place to advise anybody, but if I had to, just give me a second. Sorry. So,
guys.
Sorry about that. So if I'm, going to give one piece of advice with NLP, I would say, please do get into it. It's not as complex as it sounds. And it's something that can drastically change the quality of your life. So if those who are watching this everyday basis, what you can do is, one thing is very, very simple, which you can do even while you're sitting here right now is, just noticing your breath. Most of us don't do that. The moment your attention comes to your breath, your mind creates a vacuum. And that vacuum is something that allows your body to get into the parasympathetic mode, which is the rest and relax mode. It's a very, very simple technique. You're sitting right here. You just focus on your breath and automatically you'll get those, you'll get a feeling of things just getting, relaxed. And several times a day, if you do this, the more times you do it, the more you'll be in a relaxed state, which will allow you to, be your best creative self. That's one thing. And second thing is there are actually, in NLP, there are many, many techniques. Even, of course, Shobha, I know, is a qualified neuro-linguistic practitioner. So we have had some great talks on that subject with each other. So there's one of my favorite exercises, which I always do in my seminars, and I would love to share it here with everybody. It's called the disassociation technique. So if, let's say, there is an issue you've had with somebody you love, or is there some kind of a guilt that you're carrying with you, some kind of hatred, jealousy, unresolved feelings, and most of these are blocks that are creating hurdles in your creative present, what you're trying to do. So as a painter or as a dancer or as an artist, we need to have those blocks removed. And the easiest way of doing that is to just sit in a nice cross-legged position, eyes shut, and disassociate yourself. So in your mind's eye, you see yourself in that, you create a timeline where you go back to that time when that situation actually happened. So you float above and you see it happening below you. So you've disassociated yourself from that event, watching it from as if you're a third neutral person watching it. Trust me, it sounds very, very, organic right now. It doesn't sound much, that there could be anything that comes out of it. But with NLP, this is exactly what, works. It's when you've just created that disassociation. And if you feel you're still connected to that, create one more disassociation. So you watch yourself watching that situation. Is it clear or is it sounding complex? Are you getting it?
It's absolutely simple.
You're getting the idea, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
like
yeah.
if I'll give you an idea. Right now I'm sitting here. So if I have to get conscious about this situation, I'll imagine myself standing over here, watching myself, watching myself over here. If I have to disassociate further, I would, have somebody over here, that me standing over here, watching me, watching me. So it's basically you're disassociating from yourself. And the more distance you create, you're creating a distance between yourself and that feeling. It works each and every time. I have had some, some, I won't call them clients, people I have consulted who've had some really, really major issues in life with their childhood, with their parents, with their, siblings. And they have absolutely not 95%, 100%, overcome those blocks.
Wow. Well
This would be
explained.
thanks so much. And this would be a great takeaway. I'm sure, for you'll get a good feedback from all your viewers, those who practice this, of course, who go back and practice this.
Thank you. Over to Sia. Sia, how do you spend your day? Highlight us certain benefits of dancing on the mental level. So how does dancing help one on the mental level? But before you answer that, let's hear on how you spend your day.
Days have different things because there are days when I teach and there are days which I don't teach on. So I've limited myself for teaching only 2 to 3 times a week because with my children, my schedule is getting very hectic. So I direct shows and I style. So I've divided my time amongst all of them. So on a typical day, wake up around 9 a.m. I just wake up before that to put my kids to school, be it online, offline. Then that's my time to. Now I have a workout. I always schedule my workouts or my dance trainings around 11 o'clock, 11 a.m. So anything before that, like be it house stuff, be it grocery. This is like mom and I live with my in-laws, so it's much easier because mom and I always do things together. So just discussing work, home, food for kids, everything, settling everything down. 11 o'clock, I get to either my workout or my dance training. Then either the kids come back from school or they are done from school. So just checking on them, having lunch with them. I try to have lunch with them as much as possible. But this online school, they have lunch at 11:30. So I have to choose. So I either have lunch with them or. So now what I've done is I try to do certain days workouts in the evening so I can have lunch with them just to catch up on what they're doing. Going on to couple of days, I teach 4 hours straight, four classes on both days, and I only teach live classes because I love teaching younger children. So I do a couple of personal trainings, a couple of group classes, groups of 2, 3, not more than that. And at night, have dinner with family. Like we all eat together for dinner, always. So 6 o'clock, look for like prepare food, whatever. If my husband and I or family we are going out, that's a different story. But if not, we try to eat together every time. My husband sleeps quite early, by the way. 9:30, 10, he's groggy because he leaves for work early also. He leaves by 8 o'clock. So by
Okay.
10:30, he's out, unless we are out. So when he sleeps, put the kids to bed, tuck them in, homework, blah, blah, whatever we need to check, we do together. And that's when my me time starts. Then I catch up with my friends here. Like I have a best friend, I talk to her, I talk to other people, I'll talk to mom, I'll catch up with her because in India it's so India is 2.5 hours behind.
Mhm.
So 10 o'clock there is about 7:30 here. So I catch up with everybody. Then I get a book. Either I'll do something. I'll either read a piece of a book or I'll do some of my research for my styling. If I have a client, I'll do their work, like, whatever they need. Or if I have a shoot, then I'll work for that. Or if I'm teaching the next day, I'll work on some choreography or like just watch some videos and all. Then I sit to meditate. So,
So,
um,
what kind of meditation do you do? Do you do it with crystals, or you just do any meditation like Isha Kriya or something like that? Or what special meditation that
good
you?
you mentioned Isha Kriya. By the way, I'm signing up for the inner engineering this time because I'm very
Awesome.
curious to do it. So I have
Awesome.
learned there are a lot of techniques like how Umesh uses NLP to work through blocks and limitations that we've done. So I have done theta healing. And
Mhm.
apart from that, I also have signed up for this group. This is healer called Emmanuel Dagger. He's on
Mhm.
YouTube, so you can find him. And
Mhm.
I'm on a Club Miracles with him. So they do monthly healings
Okay.
and stuff. So if I feel that something's coming up, like every night I will listen to a video or a healing from him, and I'll just do 5 minutes of meditation, be it theta, or I really love Sadhguru in his app.
His
He has
Isha
this
Kriya is very, very awesome for the soul
very amazing.
development. Very
Yes.
amazing.
And then he has this presence also where he just says this mantra. For me, that works a lot. So when I keep that on, so it's a 10-minute thing where he plays it for about 6 to 7 minutes and then he's quiet. And then that's when I'm in my zone. And you know how meditations are very wawa woo. People are like, hi, I can't sit only, I can't concentrate only. So because the answer to that is because we're all humans.
I know.
You're very natural. Like your mind stops working when you are dead. Otherwise, your mind is always gonna work. So that's
Absolutely.
why the mind will always get there. You just have to bring yourself back. And it's nothing else. I just recently heard Sadhguru say this. He's like, your mind is yours. Your body is yours. It's not you. So in meditation, all you're trying to do is connect with that you, that is the gap, which a lot of people are not understanding. You call it the intuition, it's your higher self, it's the you, your soul self. There are a lot of ways of expressing it. It's that gut feeling which always works for you. So
So
that's
you
the
are,
one we're talking
uh,
about.
Sia, you're a theta healer. Don't you do theta healing meditation
I
as
do
well?
too. I do.
Yeah. I
I
would
just
like to
sample
share
some.
one experience here with theta healing.
Okay.
When I had done theta healing and
Yeah.
I started doing the theta healing meditation. Of course, I don't do it now. Definitely not. But when I had done 3, 4 times theta healing, some strange thing used to happen with me. And after which, of course, I stopped doing. I used to go in a different zone, that is for sure, on theta level. But some electronic used to blast always whenever I am in the meditation.
So that is your energy because you're telling me that you are in a very different zone. The
Yeah.
energy around you is so vibrant. In the
Hmm.
end of the day, everything is energy. If your energy is
Absolutely.
going so high, it does affect the appliances around you. Imagine if it affects your life, your past, your future, things you can't see. So imagine the amount of power these things hold. That's why the gurus are all beforehand with the power of themselves. They can switch off light and they can switch on the reality, right? They used to be able to control that. So, in fact, I don't think you should stop. I wish I could
Uh,
experience that and
uh,
get to that level, you see?
well, I was so scared. Of course, now
Sure.
I'm I do my regular meditations,
Yeah.
but I do the Yog Pran Vidya meditation, which is the
Okay.
planetary priest meditation.
Yes.
And I do that very regularly. And that is a meditation for blessing Mother Earth.
Yes.
It's a very, very powerful meditation in pranic healing or Yog Pran Vidya. And
Yeah.
I have been very consistent over years with that. And
Yeah.
I'm doing that. But theta healing, I'm just sharing because after that, I got so scared. I said, oh, what's happening? Yeah, whenever I'm doing this meditation, kuch na kuch phoota hai. So I stopped. It's the very high level of meditation, probably, the
Maybe.
theta level. All right, switching back to Umesh. उमेश अभी कुछ मस्ती हो जाए मोनिका तो हो गई है ना अभी कुछ मस्ती हो जाए सो यू आर स्टैंड अप कॉमेडियन भी आप बताओ कॉमेडी लाइफ में बहुत जरूरी है सो जस्ट थ्रो सम लाइट ऑन दैट एंड व्हाई इज इट सो इम्पोर्टेंट
You will have to unmute yourself, Umesh. Please unmute yourself. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry.
No problem.
Yeah, now it's fine. Yeah. So comedy to yaar, I think I really pity those people who don't, have comedy in their lives. हर चीज में, I mean, actually आप observe करो तो there is so much, fun around us, and no matter how grim the situation, there is an element of, comedy in that. So I always have, I tell people, actually, I was just reading an interview. One of my very dear friends, who's a very famous stand-up comedian, Nitin Mirani, you know him.
Of course.
So I was just reading one of his interviews in Dubai magazine, and he said it so brilliantly in that, we have, as Indian children, we are brought up to feel guilt. एक guilt complex डाला जाता है हमारे अंदर to feel guilty about even feeling good. So that has to come out, and I honestly, I gave up stand-up comedy a couple of years back only because I was seeing my fellow stand-up comedians getting arrested. You see it's in the news, because people don't have that, sense of humor to take a joke. And, so I just decided, okay, if I'm going to continue being a stand-up comedian, then I'm going to only self-deprecate and, self-depreciate, use humor on myself. अपने आप को नीचे करो चलेगा, because it's very difficult to get people to, have that feeling of taking themselves too lightly. So right now it's like only my wife who's the butt of my jokes. Or my mom. Even my mom
how about sharing some jokes here and giving us some comedy time as well?
Yeah, of course. So jokes though, I mean, it's not that there's going to be a setup and a punchline, but I just want to share certain observations. Like in my house, I'm a Sindhi boy. So, growing up in a Sindhi family is very different. We are deep people, very deep people. Actually, deep. We are deep fried people. So in my house, it's everything is about food. And when we are having breakfast, we are discussing our lunch. We are having lunch. We are discussing शाम को चाय के साथ क्या खाएंगे. शाम को चाय के साथ we are discussing what will happen for dinner. So it's all about food. मतलब food is our religion actually.
So Sindhis or Punjabis are known for food, yaar. They are foodies, born foodies.
Completely. And हम लोग के घर में ना एक बार कोई चीज एंट्री लेती है, we buy something that doesn't ever leave. वो हम लोग सिंधी में बोलते हैं ना चोलो मटान. When somebody passes away, we say that isne, he's gone into another body. So same way. So first it will be, let's say it's a toothbrush. फिर toothbrush के साथ उसके बाद mom is using it to dye her hair. फिर उसके बाद पजामे में नारे डाले जा रहे हैं. Finally,
excuse me, Umesh, this is called best out of waste.
Multi-use.
Best out of waste.
लिटरली वो टूथब्रश अपने फैमिली के साथ आके हाथ जोड़ के खड़ा रहते, भाई मुझे माफ करो, मेरी गलती हुई, मैं आपके घर पे आया. Now my mom gets offended also, if I did this joke in one of my recent sessions, and she was so, देखो और कोई नहीं मिलता है, तू मेरे ऊपर जोक मारता है बैठ के. So luckily my wife has a very good sense of humor, so she too loves it. Whenever I'm making jokes on her, I was invited in Pune for a show, and over there I did all my jokes on her. And the best part was that the person who was doing the video work was constantly putting her on the big screen whenever I was cracking a joke, and she was laughing the loudest. So I think.
Sia, you agree to what Umesh said about Sindhis, no?
I know. I totally. That's why I was laughing the loudest. Also, just talking about it. My mom, like, we have a problem because I told you my mom and dad, they live in a condo. And my
Yeah.
dad's like, I don't have space. I told him, I was like, can you build storage? He's like, no, ask your mother to take things out. Don't make more stuff. He's gonna stuff it again. So it's really hilarious. But Umesh, I wanted to ask you, what does your wife get after every show? You
What
make so many jokes on her.
what I do is I just whatever is my my paycheck, whatever is the paycheck, I make the client sign it in her name, so it goes to her
That's
account.
why she laughs the loudest also. I'm telling you.
I do it for tax purposes, but she thinks it's so. I tell her, "देख तेरे account में आ रहा
It's
है,
a
whatever."
win-win situation.
It's
It's
a
a win-win
win-win.
situation.
Plus, her husband is safe, na. She knows ये show करके घर ही आएगा.
अच्छा.
नहीं तो, I mean, it's a very terrible situation for stand-up comedians out there now. With people have, I don't know. I mean, I think it's a safer bet to just, cast those jokes on self and family, because पता है कि यहाँ पे ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा 2-3 डंडे पड़ेंगे, ज़्यादा नहीं.
Yeah, the better the most.
Yeah, this is an easier bet.
I know, I agree.
So I've been
Yeah.
hearing all of you, and I've been like really sitting down and saying how beautifully Shobha has gone and picked up each one of you, and like little jewels, you all seem to be shining. And that's what Shobha specializes in. She kind of can really dish out and put things in such a beautiful manner. And I just feel so blessed, and I feel inspired by all three of you. Bhavna, I can see that you do meditation with your drawings. I can see, Sia, when you dance, literally it feels as if the dance floor is dancing with you. And I know, Umesh, that when you act, you don't just act, it's a part of you. And that's what is so beautiful about you all, are not bluffing, you're authentic, you're real, and you
Absolutely.
you do. And that's exactly how Shobha is. She feels what she does, and I feel what I do. So this is a real nice forum where we all are being very honest and very authentic. So thank you, all of you. And I'm really feeling grace today. Over to Shobha.
Thank you so much. It was a great evening, Bhavna, Umesh, and Sia. I
Thank
hope
you.
we enjoyed the evening and we took a lot of learning from each other and had a very hearty time with Umesh and his jokes, giving us some laughter in midst of all the sadness which is going around in the world. So thank you, Umesh, for this wonderful evening. Thank you, Sia. Thank you, Bhavna. And thank you, my dear Anu.
Dekh lo, Shobha.
जाते जाते उमेश के लिए, उमेश अभी तो मोनिका के लिए तुम रेडी हो, वो मोनिका नहीं तो और एक मोनिका, बट ढूंढना जरूर, ठीक है?
मेरी मोनिका है श्वेता. You will meet her this week.
वो
शोभा जी आप फंसा रही हो उसको, मैं बता रही हूँ, वो कोई नाम नहीं बोलेगा, उसको बाद में फोन करना आप. अभी
हाँ,
अपने
बाद में
अभी श्वेता वॉच कर रही है, वो बाद में सुनाए, देखेगी उमेश.
She's monitoring this.
Yes.
I know. इसलिए उसने पीछे इसने वर्चुअल बैकग्राउंड रखा है, मैं आपको बता रही हूँ.
Exactly. Right.
Sia, you're too intuitive. Thank you, everybody.
I'm a wife, Umesh. I'm a wife. My husband's watching this. He can vouch for it.
Wow.
Everything you say, I know already.
This is awesome. Wow.
So thank you so much, my dear Anu,
Mhm.
for always being a host, co-host, friend, a darling, and a sweetheart. Thank you so much. I love you all. Stay blessed.
Thank you, guys.
Stay
Thank you
happy.
for having us.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Stay
Thank you
blessed.
so
Stay happy.
much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Lovely day. Take
Bye-bye.
care, guys.
Take
Thank you
care
again.
and stay
Bye.
safe, all of you.
Yes,
Bye-bye.
stay safe, everybody. Take care.
Stay safe.
bye-bye.
Yeah, bye.
Thank you, Anu. Thank you. You were lovely.
Thank you.
Bye, Shobha ji. Thank you so
Bye,
much.
Shubha.
Yes, thank you, all of you. A really